particular group as users of the service or joining in the production of recipes? I don't know if you have
There, well, I use it. And yes, that the recipes, of course, I'm not expecting to get a mofongo or a ropa vieja or something like that anytime soon. If we get ethnic food, it's Mexican, Latino, or Asian food. I think, and something I don't talk about it here, but I'm also interviewing chefs in the food industry. And I know some of them might be working with those recipes, but not because you're a Dominican or a Puerto Rican or a Cuban chef, you produce the food. Some people do select to go other routes. I know, for example, a Cuban chef, he has a French restaurant. So it's, but I think yes, we might become users, especially, I mean, higher incomes, if you have that disposable income and you're curious about other people's cuisines, yeah.
I subscribe to HelloFresh, not on a weekly basis, bi-weekly, but also you select recipes that can be done in 20 minutes. And I know that the white rice and eggs, will get there, but some, most of the recipes and food that we were looking at your studies, they're more complex. They're not. You don't do a mofongo or a ropa vieja. Like I don't know. Maybe it's my cooking style, but you don't do that in 20 minutes.
No.
Or so I don't know. I was just thinking that perhaps that might be a challenge there.
Yeah, yeah. Some of our food, of course, it requires a lot of love and time. Yes, which is when people talk about restaurants, they also say, well, they just have it there pre-made. They don't put the love and the time that we would put at home. So I'm definitely not expecting a sancocho or a mofongo in my boxes anytime soon.
You mentioned the caja de refugio in one of your interviews, and I know there are people like I met who remember the fact. So I don't know if there's anything to be said about that, how in the beginning when Cuban refugees came to Miami, they had to adjust their eating styles because they were giving Spam and macaroni and cheese and that kind of thing. So
You have to learn to live with what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you improvise. And you use, like she was saying, the powdered milk to make tocinillo de cielo, which nobody would. Pero, oh my, yeah, the peanut butter, you can use in many ways. So it's interesting, but I guess you need to adapt. That's part of the migrant experience.
but it is a unique experience. It only happened with Cuba, not with Puerto Rican and Dominican.
I remember I was a little girl, and I remember every month going and they had a warehouse and they had like a roller thing that they would pass, and it was like a assembly line. They would walk and they would put, like block of cheese, and then they would put the powdered milk, and then they would put the powdered eggs and the what do you call it? The meat, which to this day I can't have it.
Corned beef or Spam?
Was bad. It was bad. But it came in a big, and we ate it so much that I've never been able to eat. I can't even sit down. So it's funny how you have to adapt. If that's what you have, that's what you have, But yeah, it was quite an experience. Quite an experience.
Yes, I mean, and something that I come in, as I mentioned in the beginning, I come into this study from a Puerto Rican perspective. And the reason again, I was just in the archives trying to get a better sense of that Cuban experience, because it was really, really hard. And not only here, but then you also have to improvise back in Cuba, and how the changes post-revolution in the cuisine, when people talk about it, it's like the cuisine went to waste, and that's another thing that I'm looking into, how, that you see some of it here, how people disassociate with that, from that cuisine, and now saying, after the revolution, we lost our cuisine. And then as part of the book, one thing I'm hoping to do is, in the end, make a circular movement back to the Caribbean and then look into the fancy cuisine in Puerto Rico, the new restaurants that are opening up in Cuba, and then see what's going on in Dominican Republic and compare back to how people talk about it to what's going on back home. It's very, very interesting and difficult experience. I was down there reading a lot of the writings from the 1959, 1960s, and all the struggles. So it's really, really hard experience to understand from where I'm coming from.
And yeah, that's where Pizza Cubana comes from, right? I mean, from a special period. I believe there are restaurants here in Miami that sell Pizza Cubana, or they're part of that special period in an adaptation where there was no cheese and no tomato and no bread. So they just invented this cuisine. Well, thank you very much. The discussion will be so please take some pastelitos, and thank you for your wonderful lecture.